Hey there, grab your coffee and let's talk business. How to grow it, how to sustain it, and how to harness the wonderful World Wide Web to do it. With me, your host, Jennifer Sikowski. Let's get started. Welcome to a new episode of Raney Day Talks. I'm your host, Jennifer Sikowski. And today, this is like my heartfelt message. This episode is for the listeners who are wanting to start their own business and have it. Maybe they're on the ground floor and trying to put their business plan together. Does anybody remember what that thing is? Who maybe they're the ones who have a dream of working for themselves and not for someone else. Maybe they're the ones that have been doing this on the side for so long and they're ready to break out and go full time. You're the person who's on the fence. Well, I'm here to talk to you about that. I want to talk to you about what I wish I would have known when I was in your shoes. And actually, this episode is even for my hustlers who are trying to get their business off of the ground, who are pulling in those crazy long nights and trying to figure out everything from how to get your website up to how to work QuickBooks online and read your P&L and what the heck is a P&L. I'm talking to you, and I want you to hear this, because when I started, I didn't know this, and I wish I would have. I wish I would have got these points in my head then and not later on. I think it would have made a big impact on my business. I think that I would have scaled and hit where I am now even sooner. So the first thing is, and this is hard for me. This is something I even struggle with now, but I continually tell myself, it does not have to be perfect, because it won't be perfect. This entrepreneurial journey you're on is nowhere near perfect. It is hard, and some days you're going to have everything go wrong. Some days it's going to be the day that the project that you're working on and you're busting your tail to get it done and it goes wrong. It doesn't launch. The client's not happy. Maybe you're something with your product or service, it gets broken and you're having to call for support or work through that or troubleshoot it. It's just everything goes wrong. You're going to have those days, and then you're going to have great days. But most likely, it's not going to be perfect. Because the only person I know who walked this earth is Jesus, and I haven't seen anyone else who come close to that. So if we could just take the picture perfect path that we think that this is going to happen once you start your business. Let me say this. I hope that you are the one that you just nail it right off the front, that it is perfect for you. But in my reality, it's not. It's long nights. It's trying to get that right sales page or that right product. Or back then it was the right business card that would make me stand out, and the right one sheet that when I would pass out to a networking group, that it was just perfect, that it'd catch somebody's eye. And I would sit there and I would stress about those things. I would stress about putting something on Facebook. I would stress about putting something on Twitter. Instagram was just coming out then. Like, there was so many things that I was stuck because I wanted it to be right. In reality, I was trying to get it to be perfect, and it's not. And so that's one of the reasons, and that's why we're here, and that's why I'm talking about this, and even on this podcast, or having a podcast, is to break through that mold, that mindset that it doesn't have to be perfect. That hitting start, hitting publish is so much better if you just do it and then fix it as you go than waiting and trying to make it perfect. The next thing is, and it goes right into my next point, actually, it's hit launch quicker. So what do I mean by that? In my world, just like there's another web person right up the street, there might be another baker down the road. The quicker that you put up your sign and that you start promoting yourself, the quicker that you will get out in front of someone else, the quicker that your flavor how you work, the type of business you are, your culture will stand out and get ahead. And I find that sometimes, with going back to point one about trying to get it perfect, is that it takes us longer to hit launch. It took me a year to get this podcast off the ground. We start to get in that mindset of, we got to do this, we got to do that. If we would just hit publish, or if we would just go and launch the business and start without having a perfect website, a perfect logo, a perfect message in place, the quicker that we could get clients and the quicker that we could figure it out as we go, to be honest with you. Because without doing it, without the experience, you're not going to know. And you can assume, and you can try to plan for all of these scenarios, but until you actually walk it, till you hit launch, till you start your business, you're not going to know. So my challenge is for you, whatever it is that you're on that fence about, to hit launch, hit record, and hit publish. Because the quicker you do it, the quicker you can fix that process, the quicker that you can get better, the quicker that you can learn. Because I truly believe that everything is figure outable. Thank you, Marie Folio. And the quicker that you do the thing, the quicker that you can get better at it. So that's what I wish. Because back then, while I was trying to get my perfect little sales page or my perfect little website or my perfect little logo together, I was wasting time because people who were needing my services were going down the road. So launch, just launch. If it's a service that you're putting out, package it up and just hit launch and sell it. Because once you sell it, that'll validate that this is a need, or you are solving a problem that people are going to buy. So walk through it and figure it out as you go. Number 3 is, and this was crucial for me, is seek out people like you. You need at least one person in your corner who has started a business, and it would be even better if they're further along than you are. Because this entrepreneurial journey, once again, this road can get lonely. And I know you may have a spouse or significant other, maybe you have friends and family. That's great. But until somebody's worked through starting a business and the days where you're ready to just put up the for sale sign and sell it, or the days that you've worked 12 hours to work on this project to get it right and you did it, and so you want to tell somebody that feeling, or maybe you just hired your first person and you know how hard you work to vet that person and work on your interview questions and make it unique to your own culture, and that person works out. You want to share with somebody who can get without having to spill it all out, but they know. That's why you need that person. You need that person too when on those days are hard, that they're going to tell you to suck it up and it's going to get better tomorrow. Just finish it. Or if you're dragging your feet, they're the ones that's going to tell you, just do it. Just do it. Or hold your hand through the thing that scares you the most. They're the ones that you can lean on. Because whoever said it, that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Same thing with if you're the only person who's owned business in the room, you're in the wrong room. Find more people that are like you that you can lean on. I found one of my tribe girls in a local networking group when I first moved to this state, and she had a salon. She had already built a team. She was already doing the thing. It wasn't in the same industry, but at least she knew what I was trying to build toward. And having someone that you can bounce ideas off of or brainstorm, collaborate on, it's a game changer. Because for me, when you work for yourself, and especially if you're used to working for someone else and job, 9 to 5, whatever it may be, you have a set standard. You have a position, a description, and they are holding you accountable for whatever your deliverables are for that position. So you have a way to measure your success in that position. When you're walking in your own business, you don't have that. So it feels lonely. You don't know how to measure your success. And it's not always in dollar signs. That's the thing that people don't realize. Yeah, that's a great marker because you have goals and you want to make X amount and whatever it may be. That's great. But there's so much more to it when running a business. So that's my encouragement. And if you don't have those people, they're out there. Look for groups on Facebook, look on groups on LinkedIn, local meetups. Like I said, one of mine was from a local networking group that I joined. Put yourself out there and start talking to people. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to feel weird, but I promise you in the long run, those are the people that you're going to lean on the most. On the days that you were just ready to shut down and sell the thing, they're the ones that are just going to say, you know what, this happens. And they're going to give you that little piece, that little encouragement to take a step back, take your emotions out of it, and then hit it hard the next day. Going along with those people that you need to seek out, you need to ask for help. I like to do it myself. I like to figure it out myself. I like to see something through, and especially when it's a challenge, I like to do it. And the thing is that you waste a lot of time doing that, because the fact is that there's probably someone else who knows how to do the thing that you can seek out their input, their help, their guidance, and overcome that hurdle quicker. And that's something that I wish I would have known, and I wish I would have done sooner, because it wasn't until year 3 or 4 that I found myself into a really great freelancers web developer group online, and they became those people that I was able to ask for help when I got stuck with a development question, when I was doing all the web development myself, when I was up against and I was trying to figure out, manipulate this piece of code that I just was so close on, instead of sitting there and trying to figure out and spending hours on end. When I found that group, I was able to ping in and say, hey, does anybody know how to fix this string? And the comments, they were so helpful. Find those people, because the fact is, why are you wasting so much of your time sitting there staring at your screen trying to figure it out when the answer is out there? Now, let me walk you through my favorite thing to do when I get stuck. Pull up my tablet, my phone, sit down on my desk. I pull up this thing called Google Chrome and I type my question in, because there is a plethora of information right at your fingertips for free. And so that's where, if you can't figure it out, go to the internet, hit search, and start looking it up. If you don't like that option, check out YouTube. If you'd rather watch somebody do it, do that. iTunes, Spotify, look for a podcast. And you know that good old-fashioned place, that trusty place called the library? I know my library, I can get free ebooks. There are no excuses for sitting there and being stuck and trying to figure out. If it's QuickBooks Online, they have a great support area, and they're quick. They have a great forum. There's no reason why you have to sit there and try to feel like you can't figure something out. Ask for help and do it quicker. I feel like that should probably be the theme is just do the thing quicker. And lastly, this is good. This is so good. And even now, I lean on this, is to give yourself some grace. Because in those early stages, there's going to be a lot of things that are hard. It might take late nights. It might take early mornings. If you are a mama with little ones trying to balance, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. You're trying to figure out, like you've got a newborn and you got to figure out the breastfeeding, plus still put food on your table, plus you need to write a blog post out and then do the client work. It's hard. I know it. And those long nights and, oh my goodness, those sleepless nights, those nights pay off. And here's another thing, like knowing that for me, there was a period where I knew I had to step back from the client work and trying to solicit and bring in new clients. I just focus internally. I focus on our processes, and that was awful. And we're still going back to our processes. But for me, like, that was so hard to sit down and focus and writing those processes out. But I knew in the long run that once I hired somebody, they would be able to take over that area and run with it. I knew that my business would be stronger for it, but it was hard, because trying to balance with writing out that process plus the client work and plus, maintaining what was going on within the business But I knew, I knew it would pay off, but it was so hard. It's so hard, the sacrifices that you're going to have to make, especially if you are a family member and you have small ones, or you have a husband, you have a significant other, whatever it may be, or a wife. It gets hard because some days I'm up here working and my kids are going to the park with my husband, or I am trying to better myself and going to seek out to mastermind with a group of international new friends that I've made, and I have to leave my little ones. But just give yourself some grace, because it will pay off. The hard work that you're going to put in now, how uncomfortable it is, the indecisiveness that comes with when you're stuck with a solution and you don't have a boss to go to. You don't have someone else. It lays on you. I know it feels heavy, but making a decision and moving forward, it will work out. Because if it turns out wrong, now you know. I know I try to sprinkle in some of my faith into this, but right, wrong, or indifference, make a choice. There's a scripture in Revelations that says you're either hot or cold. If you're lukewarm, I'll spew you out of my mouth. And for me, that's something that I've always held to, is that I want to be hot or cold. I want to go full force, go big or go home, because I know at least I'm doing something. I'm hot for something. And in that's hard, because I've made a lot of wrong decisions along the way that have crashed and burned, or tried to start something and it did not work out and I had to pull out from it, and that was hard. But the fact that you do it, you'll learn from it. Your business will be better. You will be better. You will grow from that. So I hope you find comfort in knowing that, just giving yourself a little grace as you navigate the next few years, because the next few years, those first years, are the hardest. And I'll be honest, even after those first few years, it's still hard. It's just a different kind of hard. And looking back now, I'm thankful for those hard nights, because it makes knowing that when we've got a team of 4 and they need input, they need direction on some of these projects, that I have to sit down and do it. That's hard, because I know I'm going to be up super late. I know I'm going to be up super early tomorrow, but it's worth it. It is so worth it. So that's my heartfelt message for today on this episode, is just speaking to it right into your heart, that being an entrepreneur, starting up your own business, it is an awesome, awesome journey. It's awesome to be able to make your own schedule. It's awesome to be able to say, hey, these days I am home with my littles. These days are my office time, my client days. And being able to confidently do that, I can't even tell you how awesome that is. But I want to encourage you, if you can just dig in and know that it's not going to be perfect, that you just need to hit launch quicker than the next guy. Just put it out there. If you seek out people like you to lean on during those hard times, you will be able to move through those hard times so much quicker. And most likely, you'll be able to gain some good knowledge through it. And then when you do get stuck, don't wait. Don't sit there and try to figure it out. If it's taken you a long time, get on Google, ask for help. And of course, when you're feeling that you are just ready to toss in the towel, don't. Give yourself some grace. Go to bed. Tomorrow's a new day. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. And I hope that you find it helpful. If you do me a favor, hit subscribe. Take a screenshot of my Raney Day Talks cover. And by the way, did you notice I updated it? That was a lot of fun. Shout out to Mark Levander at Mark Levander Productions once again for helping me out with that studio photo shoot. But if you find it helpful, don't forget to tag me. I would love to hear your feedback. I would love to know if you are in that startups zone and trying to figure it out. If you are, reach out to me. Let's talk. A huge thank you to Mark at Mark Levander Productions for sponsoring Season 1 of Raney Day Talks podcast. I'm very particular who we partner with, and Mark was a no-brainer. Mark does all of our video editing and puts all of the components and pieces together for our YouTube channel and podcast. If you are looking to publish your own YouTube series, podcast, or need photography work, please contact Mark through marklevanderproductions.com.